the AI as well, but I just won't have any like messages being resulted from the returning of a true or false, like we will with the player. So our next step is going to be going to the weapon class and fixing up this stuff, because this has to be changed too. So yeah, we can't combine these because each one has different types of information that it needs to get. While it's all in the same, all comes from the same placeholder vector. It's all different information, and it's all, I think, in different classes too, so different subclasses, so we'll just have to leave it like it is and call the our data each time. I was thinking maybe of doing our data once or something, but well, I guess it could be possible. You just call our data. You put up a weapon class, weapon function in the weapon class that initially does our data, and then you call back to, then you just call back to the return function in each of these, return functions in each of these, without having to do our data multiple times. I can just keep down the accessing of the database. So let's go ahead and do that. That sounds like a good idea. So we do a void. Well, weapon setup. Check weapon setup. Maybe we can co-opt that. Alright, then we just take the W code out of here, because it's no longer needed in any context with these. Strange. There it goes. I was going to say how long it's going to take for it to error out there. Well, you should too, because now my weapon is no longer a part of laser. Why would we be setting the weight differently? That's interesting. We may have to change that. They're actually setting it here. It's very odd. So I don't even need that set weight anymore. I don't know why we had it for. I guess it's left over from before. What's with this missile function? Those are actually in the wrong places altogether. Odd. Easier just to do it this way. Alright, let's see now. Do all those have them? Heavy get weapon, bomb. So bomb doesn't have a get weapon. Everything else does. That's odd. Why wouldn't bomb have one? So what does this do with that information? Ah, I see. It just displays that information there. I guess it's because apparently bombs aren't going to be part of weapons. That's interesting. So I guess you can only, yeah, I guess we'll do that. You can only drop one bomb at a time, so. Well, it should be from one hold at a time, which should be the same that this way this operates, so. Actually, we will add it in. So we'll go ahead and add that in, and then we'll go back through and have to do a to-do in here, so I remember to do it. Let's see, to-do. Alright, so back over here. Go ahead and add in or get weapon. Alright, technically this should be the opposite direction here. So one thing we'll have to add is the damage intensity. That'll have to be added to the weapon data table, as it were. So for now, we're just going to take the regular average, information that we need, and plug that in for these on iWeapon, and not do any of the special stuff yet, just yet. So see, so alright. So that's done with that. I think we need to add, well, no, we need to do the get weapon. Then that'll be that. Now, let's see, void. So there's not going to be a... Actually, yes, there will be. So now, how are these going to work? So I have this damage intensity. So it's HD int. Okay, so there's a up, high, and low built into it. Again, we don't actually need to do the setting here. It can be done and then install weapon. So W. So actually, it's D. So yeah, HD int. HD int. And low. I don't know how I get onto W, M from W, but alright, so that's that. Now let's add back in the block comment character there. Add an extra space here. Actually, I don't even need to do the comment off. So that'll be there for when we need that to be there. We also have the get functions for those. Alright. anything else that we need to do? Yeah, return this thing. So, heavy. Alright. I think that does all of that now. Yeah, for everything. Okay. So we got those fixed. Now when we call this now from over in ship or hardpoint or whatever, we want to call so where's the, here we go. So these keep track of used hardpoint types. Out of what can be used, which are the ones to find above these. Interesting. So this is, yeah, initializing them. So we want to actually use the weapon initialization function and not iWeapon from the particular weapon class. So that iWeapon and this iWeapon should be different. iWeapon in reference to this should be install weapon. iWeapon in reference to this class should be initialize weapon. So essentially to initialize the name, essentially, because that's what we use to determine if there's a weapon installed or not. Is if you look back over here, not initialized. So we need to, when we install and uninstall weapons, we need to, when we initialize the weapon slots, the hardpoint slots, we need to make sure that we set the name of the weapon in that slot to not initialized. And also when we uninstall weapons, unequip them from those slots, we have to do that as well. So what we need to do is to say have an init weapon here. I'm trying to think, maybe we do that, or we could use the weapon class itself. Yeah, that's constructor to do this. Yeah, we actually don't need to have a constructor for weapon, because it's just essentially a superclass that holds this information. And then that's disseminated to these classes, which do have constructors, but we're never going to directly access the weapon class itself. So it's not really even, you don't even need to construct it, because there's never going to be a reference to it. So this is essentially like, trying to think of a proper analogy so that it makes a little more sense to those not quite so code inclined, programming inclined. This becomes a template, like like a Word template, where you take the template and load it into your current Word document, but you don't actually open the template itself and work with the template itself. That's essentially what this is. You don't have to open up this template and work with it. You just take that template and you load it into some other document, if you will, using a kind of crappy analogy to take whatever's inside of that template and put it into the document you're working on. So consider weapon being a template and laser being a document, and so when you load up your document, laser document, you load the weapon template into it. That's essentially how inheritance works, if you're going to compare it to Microsoft Word and using a Word template for a document. So in that case, all we have to do is put in here void init weapon. And then we can just access it from this here. I believe that's correct spelling. Initialized, yeah. Alright, so what we have to do for that now, though, is we have to up here, when we actually do this, we don't want to pass through the I-code anymore, because we're not going to be initializing it to any kind of information. So no more I-codes for this particular one. So we go over here to hardpoint, take out all the I-codes. Do the same thing here. So yeah, so you have laser hardpoint weapon, initialize weapon. So again, we can do this whole crap. Let's find iWeapon, replace it with that. So that's going to initialize the weapons to not initialized, or at least set the names to that, so that later on Let's see. So hardpoint. Oh, damn. And of course, then we have to do the same here for the AI version of this code. Alright. Let's see. Now we need to get into the next part, which is saying once we've done all the other stuff required, we need to actually go and set up now, which is what this part is. So we have to call our data. Huh. You see, though, the problem with this is that Weapon has its own version of data system, so you may have to pass through data system from here. Either way, yeah, we'd have to either way, I think. So, all the iWeapons, we want to pass through our data system from this class here. Because that'll have, from ship, because that'll have the proper information. So, or no, wait. Well, that's interesting. I forgot, we actually called it from here. We call it from weapon, so we actually need to call it from there. Yeah. Because this weapon class will be the same weapon class. that's called for this particular element. That's another thing, though. We'll have to call it from within the if or the fors. Huh. Yeah. So here's what we'll do. Go in here and you say lbanks.at i.hp weapon dots, and then we say w setup, and then icode. So you have to do that. We have to do that for each of these. Alright, then we go back here to weapon. Move those from there. Alright, so that's back the way it should be. Alright, so that'll do that then. So now we have so that it'll go through. Once it finds a element that's not been initialized, it takes that particular element's weapon setup function, calls it, and then that particular weapon will have that information ready for it to use. Because that weapon will have that particular instance of the missile weapon, the missile class, already initialized, and we'll call back to it. So yeah. Just a couple extra lines of code, so it's not really any big deal for the functionality you get from it. But I think we're going to go ahead and end the go ahead and end the recording for now. Go ahead and finish off the developers vlog for this month. Don't want to have it be too long. I think it's already going to be a little bit too long, but I don't want to have it going on too much longer than it already is. So, where is that at? It's hard point. That's what we were looking at, right? Yeah, each point. I'm going to need iCode. Alright. So, thanks for watching these videos. Hope you found them educational, if not entertaining. If you have not yet done so already, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel. And I will see you for the next developers vlog in February, I believe, of 2014. Until then, this is J-Will, and I will see you later.